Hello everyone. Today we will continue to look at the content of HCA Cloud Computing. Previously, we have already introduced various Huawei Cloud products, all kinds of products. Next, we will mainly focus on the three most important ones: Fusion Compute, Huawei Cloud Stack, and Huawei Cloud. We have conducted a basic comparison of these three. Let's take a look at their main differences and connections. First, we can see for ours. As for Fusion Compute, first of all, what is it? It is a virtualization solution, mainly focused on virtualization. Huawei Cloud Stack, it is a hybrid cloud solution. And finally, Huawei Cloud is a service platform for our cloud computing, which mainly focuses on public cloud, primarily on public cloud. The main target audience here in terms of consumers is primarily enterprises for both Fusion Compute and Huawei Instagram, because these involve some real. The situation with physical servers is that you need a large number of physical servers as an underlying support, whether for virtualization or hybrid operations. Without these, actually. Individuals, right? It's actually very difficult for you to provide these, including providing data centers, right? Various servers, various storage devices, and some network equipment. These are the most basic requirements. If you can't provide these, actually, you can't do either of the first two. As for Huawei Cloud, because we mainly focus on individuals, here individuals can engage in some of these purchasing, especially on our cloud platform. You can purchase a cloud server on the public cloud according to your needs. Here, actually, you don't. As long as you have completed real name authentication, anyone can buy it. As long as you have done the real name authentication, you can purchase. Here first. You can choose according to your own needs, right? You can rent as much space as you need. And here, right, we have no requirements for the public cloud. In other words, anyone can use it. Anyone can use it. So here, it's relatively more expensive, but more user-friendly for individuals. As for Huawei Cloud, let's take a look at the minimum deployment requirements next. As for the minimum deployment requirements, first of all, for Fusion Compute, as I mentioned earlier, you must have physical servers, network devices, and storage devices. These are all necessary. They are all essential, because our Fusion Compute is equivalent to what? It's equivalent to a kind of a virtualization specifically designed for internal enterprise use. It's not what you might think. It's not. Hey, it's not about renting some virtualization equipment or renting some physical equipment to do virtualization. Instead, it's generally aimed at enterprises, providing such technologies for enterprises. And what do enterprises provide? Enterprises provide hardware equipment. Enterprises need hardware equipment to carry out as a basic underlying layer. And then, what do we provide? We offer you a virtualization solution to help you with deployment and some maintenance later on. This is one of the main features of our Fusion computer. Overall, the first two options have relatively high costs because we need to use physical servers along with network and storage equipment to create a whole new cloud environment of our own. Creating your own operational environment is quite different from using a public cloud. For example, with Huawei Cloud, we don't need any hardware equipment. We don't need anything. We can access our Huawei Cloud platform just through the network. As long as you can connect to the internet, you can connect to our platform and log into your account. You can manage all your business operations through the console. This is one of the features of Huawei Cloud. Regarding initial investment, first of all, hardware equipment is essential. At Huawei, we primarily focus on subscription services because Huawei mainly targets enterprises. Solutions to help enterprises build private or hybrid clouds. Therefore, the primary first step in initial investment is actually to subscribe to Huawei Cloud service. After the electrical service, you can then, based on this, start setting up and deploying our environment, the cloud environment, using your internal servers and equipment. In the end, this investment part is not needed. Not needed. Here, of course, there are mainly two types of charging methods. The two main mainstream methods are annual and monthly packages. That is, you need to commit to at least a full month, or 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, and so on. Another charging method is pay-as-you-go here, or pay-per-use. Pay-per-use means, how much do you use? You spend as much money as the resources you use. This method charges by the hour. Pay-per-use is billed hourly, charging you a certain amount per hour. But relatively speaking, this pay-as-you-go option is generally more expensive than the annual package. Because, after all, you are using it for a shorter period, right? You are renting by the hour, so if it were too cheap, it actually wouldn't make sense. It's not very cost-effective for the platform. So generally, if you're paying by the hour, it can be used for things like testing or operations like data migration, etc. But if you plan to use cloud service for a long term, it's better to go for the annual or monthly packages, as they are more economical. But overall, whether you choose annual or monthly packages or pay-as-you-go, the cost is significantly cheaper than the two on the left, Fusion Computer and Huawei Stack, because on the left, you're buying actual servers, real equipment, which requires you to have a network, right? Have electricity, all of which need to be considered, including network, electricity, data center temperature, etc. And these aspects actually require quite a bit of money. And on the right, with our last option, Huawei Cloud, you only need to pay for the server, and you don't need to worry about anything else. As for the applicable scenarios, we've basically covered most of it earlier, so Fusion Computer is mainly for internal private enterprise use. For data center virtualization, generally it's for data center virtualization. As for Huawei Stack, it leans more towards tailoring our private cloud for enterprises. If there is some less critical data, it can also be connected to the public cloud to form a hybrid cloud, which is also feasible. However, it mainly focuses on private cloud. Huawei Cloud mainly focuses on public cloud, primarily for individual users. Of course, small and medium-sized enterprises can also use it. Of course, you can also connect it to your local internal cloud environment to form a hybrid cloud. This is one of our specific use cases. Now, regarding this, in terms of the total number of services we offer, Fusion Computer mainly provides services related to VMware virtualization containers. As for Huawei SEG, since we are offering a private cloud service, and Huawei's involvement in this area hasn't been very long, we currently provide over 90 cloud services. The last one, which has been in use for the longest time and is a more mature technology, now supports over 240 different cloud services, offering relatively more support. The software services supported are more extensive. These are essentially 3 different cloud products from Huawei: Fusion Compute, Huawei SEG, and Huawei Cloud. This is a basic comparison of our 3 products. Next, let's take a look at a few practice questions. For example, the first question is about identifying the correct challenges faced by traditional IT. Please take a look. First, slow business deployment difficulty in scaling, weak reliability, and high maintenance cost. It seems like all of these are correct, right? There's no problem. This is actually the difference we previously discussed between traditional IT and cloud computing. One of the main advantages lies in these 4 points, and it also includes the deployment models of cloud computing, such as private cloud, hybrid cloud, and public cloud. It is also correct. Yes, it's correct. Mainly, actually, deployment, to be precise, is private cloud and public cloud. Hybrid cloud is just using both together. So if you say 2 types, that's fine, and if you say 3 types, that's also okay. This is basically a thought exercise for us. Overall, this concludes the basic introduction to cloud computing. In the next section, we will officially start with the content on virtualization. Alright, if anyone wants to learn Washington technology or obtain the Washington question bank, please send me a private message or you can leave a comment below the video for technical exchanges. Okay, that's it for today.